Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the 1916 Company for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we have one of my favorite types of watch to discuss and present. No, it's not the class of watch or the category. It is the affordable watch that offers a ton of features and value. That is my favorite type of watch to discuss. And although this watch is going to be one of the most affordable that I present this year, I'm going to give it the same level of exposition and detailed analysis that you would find on a grand complication because it is that feature dense. So this is the Sinn EZM 12. Now, the EZM Einsatzzeitmesser, the Mission Timer series, is a collection of watches at Sinn, a Frankfurt, Germany watchmaker, destined for professionals across various different professions and tasks and fields and the demands that come with those specialized applications. So this watch right here is designed to be particularly useful for air-based medevac and air-based rescue. So if you are a doctor flying in a helicopter, this is your watch. So the EZM 12 in tegamented steel is 44 millimeters in diameter, 13.4 millimeters thick, from lug to lug, 54 millimeters. And then, although it looks like this might be some sort of proprietary strap junction, it's actually a conventional 22 millimeter lug. So you can actually put a custom or aftermarket strap in there, provided it's 22 millimeters. But also fascinating, because this silicone strap is designed to be particularly flexible, you can actually fit it and remove it without tools. Now the watch, okay, it's a big cushion case. That's the best way to describe it. It fits really nicely. And although technically a 44, I don't feel like it's quite as overbearing as a 44 could be. It's not a thick watch. All things considered, that'll actually fit underneath the cuff. That's not the intention, but it is a happy consequence of using a standard ETA movement. Now, in terms of lug to lug across the wrist, this is pretty much the limit here. I'd wear this on my wrist at 16 centimeters, but I think if your wrist is any smaller than mine, you're going to want to get a smaller Mission Timer. It's got a nice weight to it, and the strap, being silicone, is super comfortable, gummy, flexible. These last for a long time. The Sinn silicone straps are among the best made, most durable, and most feature-packed. And you will notice that few silicone straps have this many features to offer, including metal inserts and pre-scored marks that allow you to size this, and we will size it for you, so don't worry about that. The watch comes with two separate accessory bands, a black silicone strap and a full metal bracelet, including a dive extension. So taking a look here, again, this is an uncut strap. We have a clasp that does in fact include a dive extension. So you have that right there. If you need to put it over a dive suit, this is not a dive watch, but in addition to wearing over a wetsuit or a dry suit, you could use this over coveralls if you are flying medevac, or over a thick jacket or coat. So this can be used over working gear, not just diving gear. The clasp has twin trigger release. It's steel like the watch, and the twin triggers ensure it will stay shut. Taking a quick look internally, you can see how the strap fits into the end socket of the clasp, and all of this is remarkably robust. It's very solid, inspires confidence, and just like the case, it's media blasted, so the finish here is not brushed or polished, it's blasted with a medium. And so if this ever needs to be refinished when it goes back to the factory, it just gets blasted again, so you don't remove metal to restore the finish. That said, you may not need to ever refinish this because it is carbon diffused tegamented steel. Tegament is a carbon diffusion process that Sinn uses to raise the hardness of steel to the level of ceramic. I owned the EZM 1.1 with this treatment. I could literally take a key, gouge the side of the watch for my friend until there were marks all over it, and then wipe the marks off with my finger because the metal was worn off on the side of the watch. The watch was not worn down by the key. It is truly magical stuff, and the layer is several microns thick, so it's quite durable. The watch is 200 meters water resistant, and you can see there's a little mark on the dial. That means it's also 80,000 ampere per meter, or Gauss anti-magnetic. We have two different timing instruments. We have the Einsatzzeitmesser, or Mission Timer bezel, which is the outer one. It's bidirectional, and it glides smoothly without detents, suggesting that it's on some sort of Teflon bearing or like a Norglide or something. But that is a countdown. You can see how the countdown works. Then you have the inner bezel, which can be aligned with the minute or the hour hand, and that is actually a count up calibration, so you have both. The count up is particularly important if you're involved in medevac. You need to know how long since you picked the person up so you can tell the hospital staff how serious and advanced the condition has become since you found the subject. Now, if you take a quick look, you can see that the sapphire is flat to prevent any impact that could damage it, and the bezel is actually harder than the case. Yes, it's tegament, but then it is a DLC hard black coating over the tegament. And so you have this basically impervious combination of a super hard outer coating and then a hard substrate below it, so that the super hard but brittle outer coating can't indent and crack. So normally it's like an egg with a super hard DLC but soft steel underneath. Any impact will cause the underlying material to collapse and the DLC to crack. Whereas here with tegament under the DLC, there's never going to be that eggshell collapse and thus cracking of the DLC. So this is going to remain intact. We'll do a loom shot. The watch actually works incredibly well in the dark. As you can see here, the inner bezel and the outer bezel are both loomed. Now, a little bit about the pulsometric scale. You can see how it says pulse rotor. One side of it is designed to be essentially the seconds hand of the watch, but each of the quad spokes can be used to read the pulsometric scale. So you use this to gauge the pulse of a patient. And so that's how that works. And if you look carefully, the blades have been designed to look like the blades of a helicopter, the rotors of a helicopter. And that's intentional, as this watch is supposed to be Helo evac inspired. Inside, we've got an ETA 28362 in top grade that has been regulated in-house by Sinn. And it features stop seconds, as you can see right here. And then it's got a double quickset. One quickset adjusts the date, and then the other quickset adjusts the calendar, which is bilingual, featuring English and then also the native German of Sinn, which is based out of Frankfurt, Germany. There's another feature too, because if you look at the crown that adjusts the inner bezel, taking a quick look, there's a little insert. You see how that pale blue insert sits within the crown? This is the so-called AR technology that Sinn has. So the watches are evacuated of any dust or moisture at the point of manufacturing by filling them with nitrogen. Now, originally that would have been argon gas. They still use the AR abbreviation to describe this technology, but today it's a different inert gas, it's nitrogen. What hasn't changed is that a copper sulfate capsule that is replaceable is inserted into the flank of the watch, so any additional moisture that may intrude over the years will be removed by this desiccant material. It starts completely white, and eventually when it's ready for replacement it becomes very dark blue. But that is a very cool active dehumidifying technology that's used on this watch. Another fascinating technology, the lubricants used in this watch are special, and they're able to resist temperatures that are extreme, and I mean super extreme. So minus 45 plus 80. You'll be dead at those temperatures, but the watch can withstand it. The case back is the only part of the watch that is not tegamented, because the case back, which presumably will touch your skin, it has been made entirely nickel free, so that if you do have a nickel allergy, it will not be in contact with your wrist. And you can see there's a little bit of a tonal difference between the tegamented case and the nickel-free case back. So that is something that is worth mentioning. The 28362 that's inside is basically the complex calendar version. It's the day and date version of the 2824. It is a bidirectional winder with a 38-hour power reserve, 25 pivot joules, the double quickset, and the hacking function. And it is adjusted in-house by Sinn. It is a top grade, which is just one down from chronometer. And when these watches leave Sinn, they are made to run to chronometer spec. So a lot of the difference between top and chronometer is just down to how they're adjusted, and Sinn does the adjustment in-house. This watch has so much to offer and so many features. I promised you an exhaustive review, and there's something else you need to know. Not only does this watch come with a full bracelet, an extra strap, and another clasp, it comes with a utility knife. Yes, a multi-function utility knife, one function of which is to snap off the bezel for easier cleaning of the watch. So you get an incredible boxed set of accessories. Think a Swiss Army knife and you got the right idea. That comes with this watch as well as all of the conventional watch accessories like strap tools and whatnot. This is a really cool watch and one I would love to own. More features than a grand complication and probably a lot more value. The example in my hand was sold back in 2017, and as you could see, there is not one exterior mark on this tegmented case or DLC bezel. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing and availability questions.